T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. My life has value.
Good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Global Watchman News. My name is Lori Swan. I hope you guys are all doing well. If you are in the live chat, we do ask that you keep it family friendly. There will be moderators in there to make sure that we stay within the terms of service put forth to us by the platforms you're utilizing tonight. So, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Take a minute, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you know we go live. Great, I'm going to get the giggles now. It is Wednesday night, and you guys know what that means. That means that we have our panel back up for a discussion. Like, I look forward to Wednesday nights, guys. So we've got, of course, Ernie. Ernie, beware.
I'm here so I won't get fined.
And, of course, we've got Big John with us. Big John in the house.
It's your old pal back again one more time.
Just one more time. We have Hurricane Ann from Wolfpack Radio.
Howdy, y'all.
I'm part of the Wolfpack.
I love it. I love that.
And of course, we've got Hero in the house. He's Batman.
Batman.
How you guys all doing? It's been a couple of weeks. Been a while. I took a break. No, I didn't.
You sure didn't. Liar.
No, it was no. My intention was to take a break. It truly was, but I couldn't give up that interview last week.
You know the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm telling you. What do you guys think? I mean, look at it is March 1st, 2023. We are 3 months, the start of the third month into this year, and I'm having a hard time keeping track of things that are going on.
Yeah, it seems like all hell's breaking loose.
No doubt.
I did put up a post on Facebook, I think it was yesterday, the day before, and I reminded everybody that 2023, I believe, is the year of chaos, the 322. And it's certainly living up to it, isn't it?
Oh, 322 on 322? Oh, man. I'm dreading that day.
Yeah, well.
I'm not going to manifest it.
No, we're not going to. It's this year. Yeah, Ernie and I, Ernie. Yeah, we mentioned in 2020 or 2021, I think it was, that it was 2020 was the start. It was ramping up, and then we knew last year that this was going to be the year where we were going to have a hard time keeping track of the chaos. We knew it.
Yeah, I've been on here for about 2 years now.
Yeah, oh, wow. I think it's about 2 years. I know. Yeah, it's been about 2 years. I don't even remember when you first started. I guess I should have wrote it down so we could have a party on your anniversary. Aren't you supposed to get some sort of medical or something, a raise or something? Yeah.
Well, the check is in the mail.
Another one of my lies. Anyways, guys, so we've got something came. Look, China is. If you've been following Hurricane Ann for any length of time, you know that she is one of the experts on China. And she's done a number of videos on it. She's done a number of, exposés, telling about China and its relationship with the United States. So when this came through and I saw this document, I couldn't think of not inviting her on to talk about it, because it is quite an interesting thing. Let me pull it up here. We're going to pull it up. I think we're going to go over it, read it first, and then discuss it, because it's not very long. But
first, Lori, you have to have Hurricane Ann say that word.
Yeah, can you say this?
You can read
word?
The title for us.
Yeah, can you read the title for us?
Is it hegemony?
Hegemony.
Hegemony. I can't say it.
Hegemony. I had to look it up on Google and have it pronounce it for me, because I was saying hegemony. I think I was saying hegemony. No,
living in the hegemony. Hegemony.
It's hegemony. Okay, so
it's just like, wait, she's having me on the show, and I don't even know what this word means. When you said it last night on the show, and I was like, oh my God, I panicked, and I Googled it real quick, and I read it real quick. I go, oh, it just means that China's bullying America. I got that. I got you. I know what that means.
Let's do this. Let's pull it, because a lot of people last night in the chat when I was mentioning it. Here's the concept of hegemony. It's the abstract. It's a type of domination based primarily on dominated peoples in groups and consent, rather than purely on leaders, coercion, and extended force. The term is often loosely used to indicate complete domination, but its precise definition has far more analytical power. So basically, what China is accusing the United States of is world domination. 3 features of hegemony are power, dominance, and leadership. Synonyms for hegemony are authority, command, leadership, power, and predominance again. And I thought this was quite interesting. One of the questions was, is hegemony a Marxist term? Italian Marxist Antonio, Gramsci developed the concept of hegemony to explain how the ruling class are able to control the working class without coercion or force. It is a similar idea to false class consciousness in that it explains how working class individuals come to support the very system that exploits them. So basically, it's talking about, oh gosh, what is that called? It just went out of my head. When you support your captors.
Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm syndrome. Thank you very much. I had it, and then it just whoop, zipped out of my head. Stockholm syndrome, and it's amazing how so many people suffer from that, especially in nowadays, since the 2020 event that we're not supposed to talk about. Let me see if I can pull this up a little bit for us so it's not so tiny.
You know, I thought of a good example also of when I was reading about this hegemony. I said it right, didn't I? I'm a fast learner. Is that it's China with the way that they do things is they do debt trap deals where they go in and they put people in debt and then they trap them, you know, with this deal. But what they do is they go in and they say, hey, we're going to give you $12 billion for this dam, this hydroelectric dam, and all this blah, blah, blah infrastructure. And these people really want it. But then they turn around and they'll say, but if you don't give us your vote with the UN, you will not get our funding. So China uses the threat of withholding these deals in favor of their, you know, whether or not they get their UN vote or not. So they're manipulating the UN
but
vote.
Isn't that the way of every politician?
They're open about it. They're very open. You know, there's nobody challenging them on it because I mean, I found out about it and I'm in Heidenhammer, Texas. You know what I mean? So it's not like they're trying to really hide it. You know what I mean?
No,
they're so corrupt. But that's what this reminded me of. You know, when I was reading about it, is the way that they manipulate people for the UN votes. You know, so it's not just America that's doing it. You know.
Right. Well, okay. So before we continue, I do want to make people aware that this is a Chinese document. Okay. So this, when I'm reading this, or when we're reading this, you know, keep that in mind that this is from the standpoint of the Chinese government, the CCP. So there's 5 points of hegemony: political, military, economic, technological, and cultural. And so we're going to get into it. So since becoming the world's most powerful country after the 2 world wars and the Cold War, the United States has acted more boldly to interfere in the internal affairs of other countries, pursue, maintain, and abuse hegemony, advance subversion and infiltration, and willfully waging wars bringing harm to the international community. The United States has developed a hegemonic playbook to stage color revolutions, instigate regional disputes, and even directly launch wars under the guise of promoting democracy, freedom, and human rights. Clinging to the Cold War mentality, the United States has ramped up bloc politics and stoked conflict and confrontation. It has overstretched the concept of national security, abused export controls, and forced unilateral sanctions upon others. It has taken a selective approach to international law and rules, utilizing or discarding them as they see fit, and has sought to impose rules that serve its own interest in the name of upholding a rules-based international code. I don't think anybody on this panel can disagree with the Chinese government on those 2 paragraphs, can we?
Not really.
I mean,
how many times have we heard the term color revolution used? I think we've used it on our shows.
Yeah.
You know who comes to mind is Libya. Libya is a prime example of these, you know, 2 paragraphs right here with Gaddafi.
Yeah.
John, I would love to hear about your opinion on Gaddafi. Do we have John? Do we lose John? John? We lost John. There he is. He's back.
I have, and this is like speculative because I haven't done a ton of research on this recently, but I've been hearing that U.S. has been sending troops to Taiwan because they think China's about to attack Taiwan. So if we have troops in Taiwan and we're supporting Ukraine, I hate to break it to y'all, but winning a war against China and Russia at the same time. I don't like our odds.
Oh, no, exactly. John, I was just saying that we've used the term color revolution and on our panel a lot, especially you've mentioned it quite a bit. And what comes to mind is Libya and Gaddafi. What is your take on that whole Libya and Gaddafi thing? I mean,
I mean, most of the leaders, anyways, Castro, Hussein, Gaddafi, they're all CIA before they were in power.
Right.
Saddam Hussein was in the U.S. Army in 1958. I mean, the whole thing is we established them. That's our puppets. We use up resources, blah blah blah. Then of course they get a foothold. They get popularity on the back nine, and then they have a chance to kind of escape. Dealing with us, but not for long. I mean, eventually, obviously, we're going to get them, but they get enough power on their own, and then they just have to have a lot of security and just try to, basically survive assassination attempts. But yeah, when they with Gaddafi, I mean, everything about Libya was correct. You had free housing, you had free college education, you could go anywhere to continue education. The gold standard. I mean, Libya was a place. Was Gaddafi even bad, or is that what they told us? You know what I mean? It's like, who even knows what that guy even did anything to anybody? I mean, the only thing they had was when they connected the Pan Am 103 bombing of that plane. They had to connect it to Libya somehow. And honestly, those two bombers really had nothing to do with Libya. They were just like, oh, we want Libya's ass.
I think that was their way of villainizing Libya.
100%. And it's always true. I'm sorry to say, but the United States, we've been doing stuff for a long time. And obviously we can go back to the occult.
Oh, we lost you again, John. Pop out and pop back in. Yeah, we lost him again.
Well, clearly Gaddafi was just it was a good guy that they wanted to take out because you've seen Hillary Clinton laughing about it. We saw he died, whatever she said, and laughed. So anytime that anybody gets in her way of and it's like this paper talks about that you're reading from, it basically essentially says that it's a joke when America says they're out there fighting for democracy, and that's the last thing they're doing. They're dividing and causing wars, and taking away democracy. That's what they're actually doing. In other countries.
Right. Ernie, can you watch for him to pop back in? I want to go over here because I want to where it says to maintain and abuse hegemony, advance subversion and infiltration, and willfully waged wars, bringing harm to the international community. And, I can't, like I said, I can't disagree with anything that's so far in this introduction. I'm going to continue on. This report, by presenting the relevant facts, seeks to expose the U.S. abuse of hegemony in political, military, economic, financial, technological, and cultural fields, and to draw greater international attention to the perils of the U.S. practices to world peace and stability and the well-being of all peoples. So, political hegemony, throwing its weight around. The United States has long been attempting to mold other countries and the world order with its own values and political system in the name of promoting democracy and human rights. Instances of U.S. interference in other countries' internal affairs abound. In the name of promoting democracy, the United States practiced a neo-Monroe doctrine in Latin America, instigated color revolutions in Eurasia, and orchestrated the Arab Spring in West Asia and North Africa, bringing chaos and disasters to many countries. John, do we have you back? No, we don't. Okay.
I know with the Gaddafi thing, and this is something I did research on like a long time ago, so I'm kind of pulling this out of like the recesses of my mind, and my memory isn't the most reliable. So someone could correct me in the comments, but I believe Gaddafi was trying to make his currency backed by gold, and I think that's why they took him out. Because you're dealing with the very powerful people who do not want to lose that money.
Yes,
whenever a country tries to make their money backed by gold, you're about to get put out of there in a second.
Exactly, and he was with the petrodollar it was, there he is.
Yeah, I was sorry, having major issues.
That's okay. I figured as much. So I read the next paragraph here. We were talking about, I'm not familiar too much with Arab Spring. Well, why does it sound familiar?
Arab Spring, I think, wasn't that when they cleaned up Saudi Arabia?
I don't know. I'm going to pull it up because why is it? That sounds so familiar to me. Arab Spring was a series of anti-government protest uprisings and armed rebellions that spread across much of the Arab world in the early 2010s. It began in Tunisia in response to corruption and economic stagnation. So yeah, I do remember the United States definitely played a role in that. And in 1823, the United States announced the Monroe Doctrine while touting in America for the Americans. What is truly wanted is in America for the United States. It's interesting that they put that like that because there is a difference between America and the United States, isn't there, guys?
Yeah, one is the corporation, one is like the actual country or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. So when people talk about Americans and America, you're talking about the country, you're talking about the people, you're talking about the morals that we stand on, or we used to stand on. And then when you talk about America for the United States is the corporation. That is the the CEO, which is the president, and the board of directors, which is Congress. And, it's run just like a corporation. So it's interesting that they put that in there. I wonder if anybody else caught that. Since some of the policies of successive U.S. governments toward Latin America and the Caribbean region have been riddled with political interference, military intervention, and regime subversion. From its 61-year hostility toward the blockade of Cuba to its overthrow of the Allende government of Chile, U.S. policy on this region has been built on one maxim: those who submit will prosper, those who resist shall perish. The United States when you look at you would think the United States is Santa Claus by as much as we give money to countries, as much as we interfere with countries, as much as we try to go in and clean up their government. I have a problem when the United States says it's going to go in and clean up a corrupt government. I'm basically going to be cheering for the government that's being taken out.
Yeah, we definitely need to stay in our own, we have so many issues here that we need to get figured out. I genuinely don't understand why we're always going to other countries doing stuff. It's kind of annoying at this point.
Right. We need to stay in our lane.
Yeah. Did you see the video I posted where it was all the people protesting the war in Ukraine? Did you see that video?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was and I was surprised how many comments I got. Wait, why isn't Fox News talking about this? Why isn't this news talking about this? Yeah. And it's they're never going to.
Well, before we came on, I was telling you guys that something about Ukraine doesn't sit right with me. I put up a post and I said that my opinion, I feel like Ukraine is blackmailing the United States. I think it's got dirt on the Biden administration and the Biden family. And I think that every time they demand money, if they don't give it, then they're going to release the information that they have on. That's just my opinion. That's just my feeling on things. But I'm sorry. When is it going to stop us throwing money at these countries?
Yeah, I don't know. There's definitely
it's not
something
just money; it's taxpayer dollars.
Right.
That's our money.
And taxation without representation is what? Theft. I'm not giving my consent to take my tax money and do this whatsoever. I'm not doing that. But unfortunately, that's what.
Am I back?
You're back.
Okay, I did something different. Okay, hopefully this works out.
Okay, cool. So I don't know how much you heard.
I ended with Arab Spring or whatever was after that. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I was talking about how I think that, we act like we are Santa Claus to the world. We just throw money at things.
Oh, well, 100%. You know, here's the thing. If our capital is built behind Osiris and Ishtar, and that represents a one world government to end the world and, make the Bible come true, anything that we do to everybody else is definitely on that level. It's for that.
Right.
And whether we're just shaping it, in other words, it's just not our great leaders are like, oh, well, let's start trouble here, because there's a lot of fallen entities in play that are behind these leaders, and it's benefiting for when the Antichrist shows up. And I mean, it sounds crazy, but it's just true. There's no way that the United States has the entire capital built like it is on every Egyptian esoteric thing you can think of, and we're not trying to have a global plan to introduce the son of perdition.
Correct. Exactly. Yeah, the year 2003 marked the beginning of the succession of color revolutions: the Rose Revolution in Georgia, the Orange Revolution in the Ukraine, and the Tulip Revolution in Kyrgyzstan. The U.S. Department of State openly admitted playing a central role in these regime changes. The United States also interfered in the internal affairs of the Philippines, ousting President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. in 1986 and President Joseph Estrada in 2001, though the so-called people power revolution, through the people power revolutions. So yeah, they are, if you look around the world, I would say just about every single color revolution or every government that has been overthrown has some United States paper trail.
No doubt. Everything does with conflict. Basically, even the China, Japan smoked China in World War II. China was going to be nothing if we never dropped them bombs. And then we allowed them to go into power. See, Douglas MacArthur wanted to get a few more nukes built and use them on China, and he was told no, because it obviously was a plan to build up China. That's the kings of the East. I mean, does anybody realize that in the Bible, the kings of the East, the army fights the Antichrist?
Yep.
So I mean, it's just, it all goes along with the scripture.
Wait, China fights against them?
China fights the Antichrist, sure does. The kings of the East fight the Antichrist.
Well, I guess I support China now.
I'm assuming Russia is that too, based off of Vladimir Putin's press conference. I don't know if you guys seen that.
The speech he gave?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's exactly it, Ernie. If he mentions anybody who can sit there in front of a country and say, we're not going off an idea like the U.S. is all this devil worship and the killing the families and transgender, and it's like, here's the thing: how many times did Jesus ever reference as in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah? He said it. He said to Noah, but he said Sodom and Gomorrah too. But have you ever really thought about Sodom and Gomorrah? Have you ever thought that was one of the 5 cities in the plains, and that place was very, very large? But think about this. Think about this. Lot's wife, right? Why would Lot's wife look back at a bunch of transgender and homosexual men? Do you ever think that Lot's wife looked back because she was actually the last biological woman in the city on the plains?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I heard some background noise. Where is that coming from?
Somebody's making some cappuccino. Hero making some coffee.
I don't know. I just texted Lori and told her I thought it was Darth Vader. I was like, who's the breather? Ooh, Darth Vader.
I don't know who it is. I don't know. Yeah. This is the next this is what's interesting right here this is what the Chinese government is accusing the United States of. And when I told you guys, I told you, China was bringing receipts tonight. They weren't just making claims, they were bringing receipts. The United States exercises double standards on international rules. Placing its self-interest first, the United States has walked away from international treaties and organizations and put its domestic law above international law. In April of 2017, the Trump administration announced that it would cut off all U.S. funding to the United Nations Population Fund, and with the excuse that the organization supports or participates in the management of a program of coercive abortion or involuntary sterilization. The United States quit UNESCO twice, in 1984 and in 2017. In 2017, it announced leaving the Paris Agreement on climate change. In 2018, it announced its exit from the UN Human Rights Council, citing the organization's bias against Israel and failure to protect human rights effectively. In 2019, the United States announced its withdrawal from the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty to seek unfettered development of advanced weapons, and in 2020 it announced pulling out of the treaty on open skies. I don't disagree with pulling out of a lot of these things. Do you guys?
No, maybe not the climate stuff. I mean, some of the treaties with the missiles, but that's the thing. If you pull out of that, there's something, they have something strategic behind it, why they did it, but it's not for good reason.
Right, exactly. As a matter of fact, didn't Russia just announce that they're pulling out of a nuclear treaty with the U.S.?
Yeah, and they can actually put missiles back in Cuba, is what that was.
Well, here's the thing. It's funny you should say that. I have a couple of people that I speak with, and I'm in a chat with them as well as my team. And these three people, and this one in particular, she's amazing when it comes to understanding the call, watching the airplanes and doing stuff like that. And Russia is, and this is verifiable, Russia is back in Cuba, and they're doing something around there. And the United States has had what are they called? Submarine sniffers.
Yeah. They've
had them up on the coast of Florida in the last 4 or 5 days, and off the coast of the Carolinas. So there's something going on.
No doubt. I mean, Cuba has such a, in any scenario, them taking Florida is just
50 miles
easily. It's the spoils of war, but it's such a strategic point to where you can have an able mercenary style, army. They can probably have 250,000 troops in 6 hours on the Florida coast.
And this is what brought us to the brink of nuclear war during the Cuban Missile Crisis, was because Cuba was putting nuclear weapons in Cuba and off the coast of Cuba.
Well, and here's the thing too. Venezuela has had Russian nukes on its soil for at least 3 years now, and nobody ever talks about that. And they've delivered those S-300, missile defense systems over there, and just all kind of stuff.
Well, what's interesting is when you look at the prophecy of Dmitry Duduman, he talks about the United States being attacked by southern countries.
Yes,
and
for sure.
when I first heard this prophecy, I'm thinking, come on, Mexico, but now I'm thinking Venezuela is a great possibility.
Yeah, and that's always been, it's been Hitler's plan. It's been a Soviet plan. Hitler wanted to collapse South America into Central America, then into Mexico, and then you have a standing 5-6 million man infantry to hit the United States with. And then, of course, the Soviets have been in Central America training, giving weapons, planes, whatever. I mean, it's you have an abundance of battle-hardened men down there that are just you promise them some land in Texas, and they're coming.
Right, exactly. Well, it says the United States has also been a stumbling block to biological arms control by opposing negotiations on a verification protocol for the Biological Weapons Convention, the BWC, and impeding international verification of countries' activities relating to biological weapons. As the only country in possession of a chemical weapons stockpile, The United States has repeatedly delayed the destruction of chemical weapons and remained reluctant in fulfilling its obligations. It has become the biggest obstacle to realizing a world free of chemical weapons. Guys, when the chemical weapons, was it in Syria that supposedly the Syrian government used it against their people? I think it was Syria. I might be wrong. Right after that, the United States went in there and they confiscated all of their chemical weapons and sent them on a boat, on a ship, to Port Arthur, Texas. Well, about in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, they lost track of the ship. They lost the transponder signal for about 4 hours. And then it came back on. And when they got the ship to Port Arthur, Texas, it was empty.
Hey, I mean, I think like there's not many incinerators that can get rid of that stuff. I know there's one in Baton Rouge, and they always, I mean, there's trains with different kind of, you know, chemical and biological weapons that go to Baton Rouge and nobody ever knows, but it gets burned up in that particular incinerator. But for it to be missing, and that don't surprise me. Because now you have Russia literally today talking about that they have, you know, intelligence reports saying that a false flag chemical attack using American-made, you know, BZ nerve gas it could be used in Ukraine. And we've heard, you know, about you know, Prince talked about it, Fritz Fremeyer talked about it, people being sprayed with these aerosols and then their attitudes changing. I mean, that's a chemical weapon. And I just think that's why they don't get rid of it. They probably have so much different kinds of crap that changes your emotion and makes people kill each other. And
well, the thing of it is, though, John, is if the United States does have in possession any of these chemical weapons from these other countries that we've, and I'm using air quotes here, confiscated, and then have lost track of, they can be used anywhere and blamed on the country of origin, not even the United States.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, plausible deniability. Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. It says the United States is piecing together small blocks through its alliance system. It has been forcing an Indo-Pacific strategy onto the Asia-Pacific region, assembling exclusive clubs like the Five Eyes, the Quads, and the ACCUSES, and forcing regional countries to take sides. Such practices are essentially meant to create division in the region, stoke confrontation, and undermine peace. That's happening right now. I think of 3 regions, Taiwan being one of them, Ukraine being another, and what's going on with Korea.
That's no doubt. And it's us living here in America, and we all grew up. Yeah, you can kind of, you know, besides not breaking the law, you can kind of do what you want, go and come as you please or whatever. But the whole thing behind it is, we are, you know, Babylon, and it's not saying that China and Russia is perfect, but I mean, do they really impose their will on people, or was it all because even Russia, the Bolshevik Revolution, those were Americans that backed that.
Oh yeah,
you know, and China, you know, that was Chairman Mao. He was backed by American CIA. I mean, it's like we put all our little puppets out, and then they get too strong, and it's like, well, it's too late now to go get them. You know, we'll eventually get them, but they're just gonna have. But is it like, do you allow them to have that kind of genocide? Yeah, they do. The U.S. allowed, you know, Lenin to kill them people and Mao to kill the people and everybody else. Isn't
it funny how we can stick our nose into things that don't really matter, but when you've got something like Pol Pot killing millions of Cambodians, they just kind of turn their head and ignore it and allow it to happen. Right now, we've got a genocide going on in South Africa, and you don't hear anybody talking a peep about it.
Well, that's the thing, because that really benefits. Because does it benefit, you know, the warmongers? Does it benefit the military industrial complex? Does it benefit the U.S. government? Yeah, because if you have just last or 2 weeks ago, Russia and China are doing Navy exercises with the South African Navy. It's like now all of a sudden there's a whole collapse going on in that country. You know, what's behind that?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's horrible down there.
Yeah, it is.
Like power's starting to go out everywhere. I mean, looting and rioting.
See, this
The
is
R
nothing
word.
new. This is nothing
Yeah,
new. There was white genocide going on there 3 years ago. We have
that is correct.
a personal friend that just moved from South Africa, as a matter of fact, in the last year because it was getting so bad. The farmers were being, murdered, their families massacred on a daily basis there. And the mainstream media here in the United States isn't talking about it. No one's talking about it.
Horrible, horrible. Can I just throw in something on this topic? Maybe a little off, but it's horrible what's happening with this genocide in Africa. However, what people need to understand and wake up is that is what is actually fixing to happen, probably to us.
Yeah.
So people need to wake the hell up because, okay, Lori sent me this text of this paper that she's reading, and I'm like, I'm busy. I'll read it later. So I actually printed it out and read it today. I didn't know, he wrote the paper. Okay, and so as I'm reading the paper, I'm reading it and I'm thinking to myself, man, this sounds just exactly like a checklist of what China is actually doing to us. Now, the reason I say that is because, she's got the political, military, economic, technological, and cultural hegemony. Okay. And what they did was every single thing that's on this page, these 5 pages, they've turned around and they've been slowly, progressively, systematically, and patiently flipping the switch on it and turning it where they're in control of it. For an example, all right, say you got the military and the technology. Okay, what they did, and I put this in my video, China broke Game of Thrones, is they bought out Dianne Feinstein, and they were able to develop this microchip that is in about 98% of every keyboard in the world. Okay, and they were able to put them in everything, including our drones and all of our military, all of our warships. And that these ships, they were able to come in and they were able to take over and wreck the ships into each other. So, like in 2017, 2018, we had a bunch of our battleships crash into each other because China was controlling them. Well,
Right.
I think 2017 or 16, whenever Trump comes in, first thing he does is get ominous, comes in and redoes the military. But what does he really do? He's really redoing all of these motherboards. That's why he had to read. That's why he had to. He had no choice. He had to do this because they've come in. So while they're sitting here and and everybody's talking, well, now oh well, yeah, we're bad. America's bad. We've done some bad things, and I do not condone the games that these deep state asshat players have done. Okay, what they've done is horrible, and I'm not condoning them. However, I am in America, and while we have done that, I don't want to pay for the deep state's crimes. Okay, and they have took over with economically, not just with the Silk Road, but as I pointed out in my videos before, by building the maritime Silk Road and taking over the 7 major chokeholds in the ocean, all the ports that covered all the maritime chokeholds, which I told everybody 5 years ago that they were going to cause an economic collapse and shortages, and we weren't going to be able to get things and with the ports. And you see that came to fruition, right? And so you can see where they have went in and they bought. So I don't want to. I don't think you've read this part yet, but when you go on and talk about the movies and everything like that on this thing, we'll go look again, as I pointed out in my video 5 years ago, how every single just about picture show that you go to they own. Okay, so if you watch a movie, China owns it now. Okay, so take that into effect when you read that last part. So every single thing that they have on this paper, they've actually flipped the switch and are now they're in charge of our White House. Okay, they're in charge of our military. Look at Miley; he's bought and paid for it. Nobody can deny that. Economic, look, they've got us by the balls. Okay, by technology, they have got us. It's not good whenever we've got people in the highest offices of the land allowing them to happen.
Well, did you see that recently China they kind of put out a blackmail to the United States and said, if you don't do what we want to do, we're going to cut off your prescription meds.
No, I don't know anything. I pretty much get my news from y'all. And no, I'm serious. I'm prepping right now for the end of the world while everybody else is watching news. I'm actually was digging hoes and gardening and planting and working all day long out here homesteading. So I'm not even joking, but I still know things. So there you go. So anyways, I hate to cut in, but that, I just want to point this out. Do y'all agree with what I'm talking about? And I've said, before that, people are underestimating China. Yeah, America is bad. I see that.
Well, the thing of it
we
is,
are
though,
bad.
people don't
They are
realize.
too.
But
they're
people
going
don't
to attack
realize,
us.
Ian, that China actually has a 500-year plan for world domination. They have, and literally they go by 100-year slots, 100-year, timelines, and they're right on schedule for world domination. I think the only thing standing between them and that is us.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
Oh, when I say China's going to invade, all the TikToks they're like, they come after me. No, that can't happen. We have the greatest high heel military in the world.
Goodness, the amount of comments I've been getting about that recently. Every
We've
time
already
it's
invaded. They're so stupid. I'm sorry, but people are just so naive. They're so naive. In 2014, Texas Republic Militia had eyes on and was watching a huge ISIS camp near Houston, Texas, that had access to a river, that had access to the ocean. Okay, this was hundreds of people involved, and the police knew all about it. We had eyes in 2015 and up by El Paso, Texas, of a giant ISIS camp. Okay, Bruceville, Eddie, Texas, 2016, 500 people in this little camp, all these boys in Bruceville, Eddie, Texas, with a population of about 1,000 people in this town, okay, right down the road from me, all right? We've been infiltrated. China's owned, without any kind of censor or any kind of oversight, the Port of Long Beach, which connected to the Port of Los Angeles since 1991. And they bring in millions, the second biggest container port in the world. No telling what the hell is in this country.
No, no doubt. All the weapons.
People need to wake the hell up. We're in trouble.
Club K weapons are real. They are on these ships that sit off of our coast.
They're in our fields.
When you sit and you look out through the ports and you see all of these ships lined up to come into the United States, you have no idea how many Club K missile launchers are on those aimed at us at any given time.
But here's the thing: people that come at you all the time, I always notice they're like, our military can handle the Chinese military. Here's the thing: China's going to sit back. Yeah, they'll have few units here and there coming in. They're going to rely on all their little ISIS and their little, MS-13 and all these basically these Viet Cong. Because all they got to do is launch a Tet offensive and attack multiple targets at one time, and you don't have to have a kinetic war. You can have guerrilla warfare, and nobody is literally ever going to defeat. If you bring in all these Central American armies,
it's going to be a purge. That's what they're going to do on the 4th of July or January 1st, one day, Christmas morning, when nobody expects it. That's when they're going to attack you, And so today, when I was working in my garden, I sat there a minute and I thought, did I just walk outside without my gun, my holster, my 40 Glock on my hip? And I was like, yes, I did. And I was like, wow, that makes me a sitting target, even though I got a shovel and a stick and I would still been able to defend myself. Trust me on that. I did.
Yeah, at any given moment.
So what did I do? I went and got my AR. At any given moment,
we could have a Red Dawn scenario.
Right. You know what I did? I didn't go get my Glock. I went and got my AR, and I threw my AR over my thing, and I guarded today with my AR because I haven't been to militia in over a year, and I haven't been to the range but maybe 3 or 4 times in a year. So my rifle and I are not one. My rifle and I are not one at this moment. But you know what? We're fixing to be, because for the next week, I'm going to sleep with it, eat with it, walk with it, garden with it, until I'm one with it. I'm not going to flag people, and I'm not going to be sloppy, and I'm not going to miss, okay? And that's what I'm going to do. I will be one, because I'm not going to be a target. When they hit, they're going to hit. They're going to hit.
That's true. People think that it's like Revolutionary War where you line up, ready, aim, fire. It's a gentleman's war. People really think that. They have no aspect of any kind of other invading forces. They think it's going to be a straight kinetic soldier war, no kind of guerrilla warfare, no kind of missile launches, any kind of tactical nuclear strikes on communications in Nebraska or Kansas or whatever. They literally have no clue. They're like, our military. And then every time I think about it, I think about those soldiers wearing those dog masks, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
No, they're not going to do anything.
Yeah, I've been seeing like American soldiers putting on like nail polish and all types of stuff now.
Yeah, they're not going to do anything.
Yeah, we've definitely gotten soft.
Not me. I'm not soft. I mean, I
No,
was
I'm
soft, but
talking about I'm not, but
I do get soft. I do.
but when talking about the militia, and
No, I mean,
you and I saw the militia being demonized over the
because
past
I'm soft now too.
5,
The
10
other
years.
day, a girl walked right in my house. I am soft now, okay? She walked right in my house. She got past my 5 dogs, down my driveway, past 19 security cameras, through 2 gates on my front porch, in through my double locked front door, and into my hall and into my kitchen, and was standing there looking at me before I even saw her. And Ivanka Melania Trump didn't even bark. And she came into my driveway and went over to the fence and pet Axel Rose, okay, my killer boxer, because she knew him because he came from where she's from, you know.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. She walked in my house. I go, girl, you better be glad you didn't just get shot. And I don't like this girl. Okay, somebody I don't like. My mother invited her over. I would never let someone like that in my home, you know. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm soft. So that's why I had to tighten up. Like today, I caught myself without a weapon. I've slacked off. My door's unlocked. People's walking in my house.
Yeah.
You know, and I am in militia. I know better. And I'm still, you know, it's so easy to slack off and to be just your guard down. You know, it's easy to say that stuff, but then to actually to remember to do it and stay on your guard. It's hard to stay in that heightened alert all the time, but we're going to have to do that. I do believe, like Big John said, when they hit, they're going to hit. It's going to be guerrilla warfare. They're going to hit all at once.
We're not prepared. The United States is not prepared. We've never had a war fought in modern times on our soil, and when we did, it was the gentleman's war. It was, we lined up and we had these rules that we followed, and we did this during the Civil War, during the Revolutionary War. But people today, that's what shook us on 9/11 was the fact that something happened on American soil. That's what shook us to the core. But I think a lot of people have also now forgotten that. We've gotten older.
Yeah.
The children that were born or babies at that time, they don't understand that feeling. We felt violated that day.
Guerrilla warfare is almost like a Pandora's box. Like back what you were saying before with like when we used to have the gentleman's war. When the United States started using that guerrilla warfare, literally every other country started doing that too. So now it's like you can't sleep in your house without worrying about someone sneaking in your window, and it's
no doubt.
There's no rules to it.
Can I tell y'all something
there's no
so
rules.
funny? This is so funny because you guys don't know me that well. Like Lori was just saying, y'all been doing radio about 2 years together. Lori and I have been on the radio for 8 years together, so we go back a little ways. And so the Hurricane Ann that y'all know is on TikTok. It's funny. Wears makeup, uses filters, worries about my hair and my eyelashes.
I know the Hurricane Ann that used to have calluses on her fingers.
I still do.
Mud underneath her fingernails. No makeup.
Right.
Her hair, she hadn't been washed in a week. Looked like she hadn't taken a shower in a week. She's been out in her backwoods, making a shelter, digging up holes, and literally,
dude, I dug 8 holes today.
Training for guerrilla warfare, like
I
literally.
dug 8 holes. Yeah, and so, but here's the deal. So when we would train in militia, everything that we did, and I'm not trying to brag or anything, but everything we did just came so naturally for me. I'm just a natural at it. I excelled in every class we had except one, and it was the gray man. And the gray man was to blend in and to look normal and to not look tactical. I could not do it. We would go, it's the way I stand, the way I look at people, the way I move. And every single item that I owned is like OD green. It has something to do with, you could just tell, right? Like cargo pants and army boots, it's everything. And so this TikTok has been a great thing for me because like whenever I garden, I pretend like I'm training in militia. Okay. I'm training. So if I can't carry the weed eater until the battery dies, then I don't deserve to be on patrol with my rifle. Same thing with TikTok. I'm training because it's the best gray man I've ever had. I've learned how to do my nails, my hair, my makeup. I'm blending in. I'm looking like other moms. And I couldn't do that before. I stood out I did. I'm not lying. Yeah. I stood out like a sore thumb. And it was the hardest training for me. And so to get back to being a girl and all that stuff and blending back in, actually I'm using it for militia training also. Okay. And I'm getting paid. I've already made $1.05 on TikTok, y'all.
She's made $1.05.
Shut up.
That video that she made about to me, I told her, I said, any proceeds you make from that, I said, I want my 2 cents.
Yeah.
Because
Of course, they didn't start paying me till after I don't have viral videos. I wish they were to pay me on that one that I had like 450,000 views on recently.
You would have got a whole 15 cents on that one.
Hey, I'm excited, okay? Because
I know.
$1.05 is the most money that I've made in years, okay? So I am so excited because I just, I have a job. I'm going to make a whole bunch of money on my Amazon store, though. So, y'all, that's a good job.
There you
Being
go.
Amazon. I hope they don't cancel Amazon because I did.
Well, I heard that Congress is right now threatening to cancel TikTok for. They've already done it for government employees, and they're doing it. They're talking about taking it away from the public, and that's because there's way too much information being shared over on TikTok.
I've learned so much on TikTok.
Oh, God, me too.
6 months, I've learned more about gardening, about recipes, about makeup, but mostly like today. I mean, I learned so much stuff about gardening today and companion planting, everything about my chickens. Oh my God, I learned so much, y'all. It's amazing. Like that detox bath that I took today. I mean, my psychic is like so strong right now because my pineal gland is like being decalcified, I guess, because I'm so psychic right now. It's been crazy ever since I've been. No, I'm not.
It's I can vouch for that. I can vouch for that. The other day, she said, "I'm thinking about you," and I was very down, and she sensed it. She did.
I am. I'm really always have been, but it comes and goes. But when I'm psychic, I'm real psychic.
Yeah, her and I have always been in sync with one another too, as well. So,
but guess what? Guess who TikTok is owned by?
China.
But they already own everything else. So what's the big deal? They own your refrigerator.
Okay, here's another thing, and I don't know if they're going to get into this, and when they get to the economic part of it. But before I forget, I want to just bring up that here's the thing: is United States right now, the government, the administration, right? The administration, the current administration, is ignoring that we have hit our debt ceiling, and this concerns me because this does include China, because China bought up all of our loan markers. And when those loans come due, they're going to come for the collateral that was put up to secure those loans.
I know you are tired of me saying on my video, The Real Game of Thrones, that I put out 5 years ago, which I get so aggravated, but it's true. I put in there that was a deal in 2012 that was literally handwritten and personally hand delivered by Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, when they demanded proof that they would be able to take eminent domain over whatever in lieu of debts not being paid, meaning they can come in and say Hawaii's ours in California.
Yeah,
that's exactly what they're doing.
Didn't they take Yellowstone a couple days ago?
Yes, Yellowstone. They've got all of our ports. I mean, they own a lot of our land. They own.
Yeah, they got Yellowstone. Yeah,
shut up.
They demanded. Yeah, they demanded. I think they got it.
You shut up. You can't know something about China that I don't know. I'm supposed to be the expert on this.
No. Well, here's what's interesting about Yellowstone is in the
they got the TV show Yellowstone. You can't
in the last week, Russia's threatened to actually nuke Yellowstone.
What?
And I'm trying to think. I think it was in 2015.
Damn, The Godfather. Dang, they're the Godfathers.
That's because of the Yellowstone volcano, though, right?
They're like, yo, dude, you mess with me, you won't mess with me, little chumps. I'll blow up Yellowstone and I'll demolish all of you, including China. Okay.
In 2015, a Russian plane, and this was kind of goes along with this whole China balloon thing, though. But I think it was in 2015, a Russian plane got as far inland in the United States as to fly over Yellowstone and to take readings. Now, they did not ask permission. I guess they live by, it's better to say I'm sorry than, or it's better to, better to say I'm sorry than, I don't know, I can't remember what it is, but they didn't ask permission. They came and they flew over Yellowstone, and they got all of the readings on Yellowstone and the caldera and everything. So when they put out this the other day that they were threatening to nuke Yellowstone, my little feelers went up, and I was like, oh, hell to the no. Yeah. So, but I'm not sure, but we're going to get into the political or the economic part. Let's continue. This is the military hegemony, wanton use of force. That's not us. The history of the United States is characterized by violence and expansion. Since it gained independence in 1776, the United States has constantly sought expansion by force. It slaughtered Indians, invaded Canada, waged war against Mexico, instigated the Spanish-American War, and annexed Hawaii. After World War II, the wars either provoked or launched by the United States include the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the Gulf War, Kosovo War, the war in Afghanistan, the Iraq War, the Libyan War, and the Syrian War, abusing its military hegemony to pave the way for expansionist objectives. In recent years, the U.S. average annual military budget has exceeded $700 billion US dollars, accounting for 40% of the world's total, more than the 15 countries behind it combined. The United States has about 800 overseas military bases with 173,000 troops deployed in 159 countries. And yet we just got done saying that we would probably not be able to win a war at this point.
Not at all. I mean, an invasion is so easy. I literally can think of 15 scenarios in an hour to what you can do to literally gain ground in the United States.
Right.
If you got, you just have so many people, you just overpower. And then you have people that aren't going to, you turn the power off. I can literally sit back with an army, be like, you know what? The power's off. There's no Wi-Fi. They can't have their Adderall. Let's just wait. Yeah. I mean, that's all you got to do. Sit back and wait, and then sweep and clear missions after everybody's, goes after each other.
Yeah, that's so true. I don't even know if you probably could just turn the Wi-Fi off by itself and leave on the power and get people.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
But that's what it is, because that is a whole different strategy of war, is because everywhere that we've went, we never turned off luxury. These people ain't got nothing anyways.
Yeah.
But when it's turned on us, you turn off our luxury, you done won 60% of the war automatically.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then it's like, well, now we have to go and, fight an insurgency. And you're not, and here's the thing, you're not going to fight everyone.
Johnny, you said that China has the capability of, because they have created the circuit boards and the chips for almost everything, that they've put these back doors in where they can unhook part of the internet, or part of the whatever's on the
grid,
and do what they got to do, and then hook it back up, and it works fine for them.
100%. But people on TikTok, with no profile pictures, I've been doing electricity for 12 years, and that's impossible. That cannot happen. but here's the funny part. When I'm like, go look up Grid X, idiot. And it's like every year, it's like, well, the Chinese took part in Grid X, the Chinese, blah, blah, blah. It's like every time the Chinese. And it's like, no, he's been a lineman for 12 years, but I'm just make sure we listen to him about it, because he knows that they don't have that don't exist.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like, you never really think. People are so, and I was like that too. I served the military. I mean, I knew a lot of great people, but the agenda, we live in Sodom and Gomorrah. We live in Babylon. The whole thing is out the window. Does anybody, I know y'all pay attention, but does anybody out there actually pay attention now? That they have congressional hearings arguing about a man dressed like a woman, and then they get mad when you say they got a penis. They're arguing over that. The lunatics have controlled the asylum.
Yeah.
It's all it is now. It's everybody's arguing now. It's like, and it's so funny to me, because this is what happened in Sodom and Gomorrah. The transgender women, or whatever it is, the men that are become women, whatever you want to call them, they are starting the war with women, starting with the tampon stuff, giving them this name, cis. You're a cis woman. It's like, but here's the funny part. That's already happened before in Sodom and Gomorrah. And now they're going after men. Oh, well, you don't want to be with a transgender woman. Now you're transphobic. No, that's my choice. I don't have to be. but they're coming after everybody if you do not submit to them.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
But and
Oh
that's
yeah.
the
When
whole
you look,
topic of that's any topic. Anywhere you look,
I
they're
found a way
arguing
to
about it
checkmate
in
him,
the
though.
government. They're arguing about it on the streets, all over social media. It's like, oh, you don't want to date me? I'm a man dressed like a woman. You don't like me? I said, no. Well, it's not like I don't. You're cool. I don't want to date you, but that's my choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know if
Where
Lori
has
posted-
that gone? They're like, well, you're this and this. It's like, damn. It sounds like you're trying to impose your will on me.
They're doing the exact thing that they're accusing you of doing.
Exactly. But here's, this is the thing. This is how that damn city ended up. The United States is Sodom and Gomorrah. All these transgenders in charge in the military, and it's an agenda, and you can't say nothing, even though you're like, you know what, that's your business. That's cool. You want to do that? That's what's up. But it's like, no, they want more, and they want more, and they want more from you. It's like they want to impose their will. And that's where I'm like, okay, now we're in Sodom and Gomorrah. Now we're in Ishtar land, where that's what the normal is. In Mesopotamia, you couldn't do nothing. I mean, people realize that when Sodom and Gomorrah came from, when the Tower of Babel and the continent split, where did people think all those people went? They went to the city in the plains. So the transgender parties that happened at the Tower of Babel continued into all these cities.
Yep.
And it's like, the old will be the new. It's like there's nothing new, people.
Yeah.
Why is it a problem now? Because they're going for your throat. They're going for the kill. That you have to give in to this society that is where these people are they're going to run you.
It's the divide and conquer. It's the distraction. If they throw these people some distractions and keep them occupied, and it's working, because these people that are so involved in what the social standards are, acceptable social standards now, they don't even realize politically what's happening to this country. And if they do realize it, they don't care.
They don't care. They get scared enough to not say nothing. Like, better not say nothing. You're gonna get me. They're gonna cancel me. Like,
they're gonna cancel me. Cancel culture. Exactly.
This country
I think
has turned into a bunch of pussies. That's what happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know how to put them in checkmate.
I'm sorry for swearing. I don't normally swear, but it's the fact that nobody has a spine anymore.
Well,
and those that do have a spine are so much of the minority. They get overwhelmed by the mass.
Well, yeah, and that's the whole thing. That's art of war stuff. People, I mean, you think that these people, these drag queens, like they're some kind of sissies? No, they know what's going on.
They know exactly what they're doing.
They're smart.
But I got to tell y'all this.
They know the art of war too.
I think Lori might have posted it, but I don't know. But I read it somewhere. But it said, and here's their checkmate for whenever they want to argue, whatever they want to argue. Say, look, here's the deal, dude. Okay, if I put 2 men on a deserted island and 100 transgender men or women, whatever, men that are now women on the same island, 100 years from now, when I go over there, I'm going to find like 102 skeletons of men.
Yeah.
So that's a checkmate because they can get their penis removed. They can get breast
They can
implants,
get whatever they want.
They can take hormones. But when we go back and dig up their bones, we're going to find the skeleton of a man.
Yeah,
well, that's not a checkmate, Ann, because they'll argue and say that,
that's my checkmate. That's my checkmate. That's it. They're blocked.
That's mine.
Story.
Yeah, that's mine.
They'll make up something. They'll say something like, well,
blocked.
That leg bone had a, that leg bone's a girl's.
I don't let them come back at me. I'd block them. I'm the block queen. Sometimes somebody gets something in before I get a chance to see it, but then they're blocked. And then I go talk crap to them after I block them.
I always poke them before I block them.
I block them first, and then I talk all this smack and get out of my system, post it, and then I delete my talking smack, and then I delete their crap. So there you go. Yeah.
I want to get to this. I want to get onto this next part, not to interrupt you, but I really want to get onto this next part because it talks about President Jimmy Carter. I have a very strong opinion on President Jimmy Carter, only because, first off, he was a lame duck president. He absolutely did absolutely nothing. our hostages stayed, hostages for 444 days. He did absolutely freaking nothing to bring them home. The only reason why they were brought home during his administration, the last hours of his administration, is because President Ronald Reagan at the time, said as soon as he gets sworn in, he was going to make a parking lot of that country so that they were released. But Jimmy Carter, I understand he's in hospice. I understand he's in this deathbed. But I did put a post up, and I said, before everybody starts saying what a great person he was, let's not forget that not once but twice he set a wreath at the tomb of Yasser Arafat, a known terrorist and murderer of human beings. So, but they go on and they talk about former U.S. President Jimmy Carter put it, the United States is undoubtedly the most warlike nation in the history of the world. According to the Tufts University report, introducing the Military Intervention Project, a new data set on U.S. military interventions, 1776 to 2019. The United States undertook nearly 400 military interventions globally between those years, 34% of which were in Latin America and the Caribbean, 23% are in East Asia and the Pacific, 14% is in the Middle East and North Africa, 13% in Africa. Currently, its military intervention in the Middle East and North Africa and the sub-Saharan Africa is on the rise. U.S. military hegemony has caused humanitarian tragedies. Since 2001, the wars and military operations launched by the United States in the name of fighting terrorism have claimed over 900,000 lives, with some 335,000 of them civilians, injured millions, and displaced tens of millions. In 2003 Iraq war, resulting in some 200,000 to 250,000 civilian deaths, including over 16,000 directly killed by the U.S. military, and left more than 1 million homeless. The United States has created 37 million refugees around the world. Since 2012, the number of Syrian refugees alone has increased tenfold. Between 2016 and 19, 33,584 civilian deaths were documented in the Syrian fighting, including 3,833 killed by the U.S.-led coalition bombings, half of them women and children. The public broadcasting system reported on November 9, 2018, that the airstrikes launched by U.S. forces on Raqqa alone killed 1,600 Syrian civilians. The 2-decade-long war in Afghanistan devastated the country. A total of 47,000 Afghan civilians, 66,000 to 69,000 Afghan soldiers and police officers unrelated to the September 11th attack were killed in U.S. military operations, and more than 10 million people were displaced. The war in Afghanistan destroyed the foundation of economic development there and plunged the Afghan people into destitution. After the Kabul debacle in 2021, the United States announced that it would freeze some $9.5 billion in assets belonging to the Afghan Central Bank, a move considered as pure looting. In September of 2022, Turkish Interior Minister commented at a rally that the United States has waged a proxy war in Syria, turned Afghanistan into an opium field and heroin factory, thrown Pakistan into turmoil, and left Libya in incessant civil unrest. The United States does whatever it takes to rob and enslave the people of any country with underground resources.
100%. I'm about to say the opium business is real good.
Oh.
Dang, China's going hard on us, man.
I said they're bringing receipts. The United States.
They ain't bringing receipts, they're bringing the heat.
Bring the heat. The United States has also adopted appalling methods of war. During the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the Gulf War, the Kosovo War, the war in Afghanistan, and the Iraqi War, the United States used massive quantities of chemical and biological weapons as a result, as well as cluster bombs, fuel air bombs, graphite bombs, and depleted uranium bombs, causing enormous damage on civilian facilities, countless civilian casualties, and lasting environmental pollution. And I would say 95% of all of those confrontations, we had no business being there.
We have been living in a perpetual war for dozens of years.
Depleted uranium, that's the one that really, I saw the videos of those children, those people with depleted uranium. Just, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, no doubt.
So let's move on to the economic hegemony, looting and exploitation. I wonder what they got to say about this. After World War II, the United States led efforts to set up the Bretton Woods system, an international monetary fund, and the World Bank, which together with the Marshall Plan formed the international monetary system centered around the U.S. dollar. For those of you that don't know the Marshall Plan, that was drawn up, I believe, by Rothschild, wasn't it? The grandfather Rothschild.
Oh yeah, a Luciferian, who would know?
Yep, the Marshall Plan. Yeah, it was not. It was the grandfather. It was the one that was around during the creation of the Federal Reserve.
What year was that? 1913, right?
Well, the Marshall Plan or the Federal Reserve?
Well, I know this. I know that the Middle East was formed pre-World War I, along with the gold standard or whatever. It was all part of the same agreement. When they made the borders for Saudi Arabia and all that, that was all made at the same time the gold standard was.
Right. Well, the meeting on Jekyll Island took place in 1910, but the Marshall Plan was done, I think, before that. I think Grandpa Rothschild drew up the Marshall Plan, and it was shot down. So that's when they went into the Federal Reserve Plan. I believe that's how it went. Where did I stop reading? In addition, the United States has also established institutional hegemony in the international economic and financial sector by manipulating and weighed voting system. Rules and arrangements of international organizations include approval by 85% majority and its domestic trade laws and regulation. By taking advantage of the dollar status as a major international reserve currency, talk about the petrodollar there, guys. The United States is basically collecting seigniorage from around the world and using its control over international organization. It coerces other countries into serving America's political and economic strategy. I'm going to look up what this word means. Give me just a second here. Seigniorage. Let's see what that is. What does that word mean? Definition. Profit made by a government by issuing currency, especially the difference between the face value of the coins and their production costs. Okay. The United States exploits the world's wealth with the help of seigniorage. It costs only about 17 cents to purchase a $100 bill, but other countries had to pony up $100 of actual goods in order to obtain one. It was pointed out more than half a century ago that the United States enjoyed exorbitant privilege and deficit without tears created by its dollar, and used its worthless paper note to plunder the resources and factories of other nations. With the control over international economic and financial organizations, the United States imposes additional conditions to their assistance to other countries. In order to reduce obstacles, the U.S. capital inflow and speculation, the recipient countries are required to advance financial liberalization and open up financial markets so that their economic policies would fall in line with America's strategy. According to the Review of International Political Economy, along with the 1,550 debt relief program extended by the IMF to its 131 member countries from 1985 to 2014, as many as 55,465 additional political conditions have been attached. So when we give our monetary money to these countries, it comes with a price. But doesn't everything, when you talk politics?
Oh, yeah. There's a price in everything we do. Nothing is free.
It's such a corrupt system, my gosh.
Exactly. So let's go on to the technological hegemony, monopoly and suppression. The United States seeks to deter other countries' scientific, technological, and economic development by wielding monopoly power, suppression measures, and technology restrictions in high-tech fields. All right, I've got a problem with this because the Chinese government is the biggest thief of technology ever.
Oh yeah.
They literally send over college students on visas. They go into our MIT and they get jobs over in Silicon Valley. They steal our technology, go back to China, develop it, and then sell it back to us.
You know, the course of Clintons gave China so much free stuff, though, a lot of advanced things, especially with warheads and neutron capabilities. And I mean, yeah, they still do that. I mean, I think the University of Texas is the biggest one. I mean, that's Chi-Com all the way.
Wow. Yeah. So I just that just fries my butt when I think of, you know, and you know, kind of, you know, blackmailing us. If we don't do what they want, they're going to take away our prescription meds. They everything that we get. I'm not, and Anne can vouch for this, and you know, this has been our go back and forth, but I'm not a Trump supporter, but damn it, he had the right idea when he was trying to bring jobs back to the United States. We have literally given our power over to other nations to the point where now we have to depend on them to try to get toilet paper, for crying out loud, because it's outsourced to China. Oh, by the way, I'm still waiting for my wedding dress. It hasn't arrived from China. By the way.
But I told when I opened my channel and everyone wanted me to hurry up and put your, you know, first video out, because I had all those stories. Lori was chomping at the bits for me to get them out. Chomping at the bits. So I say everybody, I mean Lori, okay? And because I had it pretty tight secret, because I'd found out some really good stuff, but I was like, I can't. I have to do the China video first, because if you do not understand China, you will not understand what is going on now, because everything is not look here, Russia. No, it's look here, China, you know?
Yeah.
I'm
What
upset.
was it?
Y'all know they called me, right? They called me from their consulate in Chicago.
Oh yeah, she calls me on the phone. She's freaking out. She goes, I just got a call from the Chinese consulate, and this was while she was having her computer was crashing. Every time she would try to upload a China video, it would not upload. It would not.
Really?
Oh my God. And then she's calling me. She's freaking out. She's like, the Chinese consulate just called me. I was like, what are you talking about? She let me listen to the message. Yeah, they called her.
In Chinese and English and in Chinese again. I still have it. And every time I post it, they ban me on TikTok before anybody can even see the video. Because this is before the police stations came out. And I've been trying to tell people for 4.5, 5 years now, hey, when I put out this China video, they came after me. They're trying to serve me these papers, you know. I don't know. I won't talk to them. I blocked them. I don't answer their shit, you know. I'm scared of them. So I just been laying low ever since.
Yeah.
But I try to tell everybody, every time I put it anywhere, I'm blocked, banned immediately. And now they're finally starting to come out with these police stations, and more people are getting aware of it. But
I was
trying to talk about this before.
That's going to be the last thing we're going to talk about.
They still haven't talked about that there's a consulate in Chicago where they're trying to serve us, and that's under TPP. That's why they can do this. They can take us to court here.
There's a consulate? They can take you to court in America?
Well, see, that's I used to be like real famous on Facebook before they killed me on there. But and then the reason why is because I would always be talking about crap people didn't want to talk about, and like TPP. And President Trump actually reshared. Remember that, Lori, when he reshared that video of me and little Ivanka Melania Trump Kelly? And I was talking about TPP because everybody was trying to support Ted Cruz here in Texas, okay, especially the militia people, okay. And I was like, look, you know, I know y'all like him, but y'all need to do your research because this dude backs TPP. And I said, in TPP, what that actually means, Trans-Pacific Partnership, is like instead of going to court in Belton or Temple, or, you know, for the county, if I'm in trouble, I could actually be going to court in Academy, Texas, or Temple, Texas, in a Chinese court, and be taken to court by China and punished by China here in America, in my hometown. And that was in TPP. And Ted Cruz supported TPP. So this was in the primaries in 2016, when I was already talking about this being in TPP. So, and it's like I was saying on the radio since 2014. I said, well, we've already had World War III. We've already been invaded, and we've already lost, because at that time I felt like China was in control of our country till Trump took it back. Okay.
Yeah.
And now I feel like they're in control again.
I do believe that. I do believe that Trump was trying to take control back. But yeah, here on the screen, the Consulate General of People's Republic of China in Chicago. Yeah, right here.
I still have it if you want me to send it to you, John. I got
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I made a TikTok and I saved it, but they banned me. So
yeah, there's not only reported that they now have these police stations, these China. Now it's interesting because we reported on those police stations back about 6, 7, 8 months ago, and now the mainstream media is finally talking about them.
Oh yeah, on him and about 4 years ago in Australia, and I was telling everybody, hey y'all, I had to go to Australia for a month to research this story, because what happens here happens in Australia first.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what I'm seeing there is they took away the police, and then they brought in their private police force, which had a completely different thing. And they had Chinese police cars there, and I'm like, okay, y'all, this is the model. What happens there is a guinea pig, and then they're going to put it here, and that's what they did. I know my daddy, if he was still alive, bless his heart, he'd be like, little girl, does your arm hurt? Your shoulder hurt? And I'd be like, no, Daddy, why? He'd be like, from patting yourself on the damn back so much. And so, but I mean, I nailed it on this China video. I just did.
Yeah, but if the Chinese consulate's calling you, and it's not about your car's extended warranty, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Because my information is correct, and furthermore, they're just, it's so scary, y'all. It's just scary. What were we going to say?
You sure you want to come to Chicago?
Yes, because I'm going to go find that tunnel, because there's a tunnel that runs underneath that river. I found the boat tow. I found the boat tow. I know where it's at. I know where the underground facility is. So the boat tow, the original boat tow.
Oh, guys. Okay. All I know, look, guys. All I know is if I make a video and I tell you that Anne's in Chicago, you guys start up a GoFundMe, get bail money. I'm serious. Get bail money, because we may need it.
Yeah, can they just arrest you? I
got all the blueprints. I know where we're going.
Well, they can if we go underground with the blueprints, and we're not supposed to be there.
Oh,
why y'all broadcasting this on YouTube?
Nobody listens to us.
Allegedly,
what do we have
allegedly,
a conversation
say allegedly.
night?
They only have me at 500 subscribers on YouTube. Every time I'll get like 3,000 subscribers, and I'll be looking at it, and it goes back down to 425, and then it takes me 6 years to get back up to 500. And then now they're just trickling me up to like 700, but then they'll take them all off again. Y'all know I got more views on that on YouTube.
Oh, I know either. I know.
But yeah, China's really scary. They're really, really, really scary. They scare me.
They're intimidating. They're intimidating because they don't, pardon my French, but they don't give a poop. They don't.
Do you wonder, though, they've left my video up on YouTube, but yet whenever Trump took away the port of Long Beach, I was able to put my Long Beach. They don't want people to know about Long Beach. Okay.
Oh no, that would came down immediately.
But it was up the whole Trump administration until Biden took office, and I knew the minute that they took back the port of Long Beach when they scrubbed my video back off of YouTube. Okay. And because they don't want people to know about the port, because that is their number one, that has been their number one play. Okay. That has been their number one play in America, because this is so huge. It's so freaking huge. And the corruption, when I started researching it and what they did, it's just crazy. And yeah, anybody that's not scared of China, but the reason they've left my video up is because I point out point blank that we were outplayed and outmaneuvered by China. And see, that's the way they work. You have to put them in a positive light. They control our stuff. They make us change movies in order to put them in a better light. They're in control of all that. But because if you watch that movie, I showed that they outplayed, outmanipulated us. They did. They've outmaneuvered us, period. I can call that, they have. And that's why that video's still up. Guarantee you that. But one other thing, and I'll get off this, I'll give y'all back the show. It just takes Gloria's circle, okay, little circle graph. And it's showing that Ohio air, okay. And y'all, am I trying to be here we go again. But I predicted this in the East Coast,
You
and I
did?
also put a video out on TikTok about, I don't know, 2 months ago, about how I dreamed about an attack on the East Coast and how people had suffocated. So this Ohio thing in that circle is almost identical to my video, isn't it, Lori?
Yeah.
Hurricane Anne's scaring me right now.
I did like I did a lot of research. I mean, I traveled back and forth. I flew from Texas to Nevada I went to Arizona. I talked to people in Grand Canyon. I went to Australia. I worked for 3 or 4 years on this story. Okay.
Damn.
And then I can't even get people to watch my 29-minute video. Asshats. I'm trying to help them.
There's a really good channel on YouTube that talks about China. It's the channel's called Serpenza, and he lived in China for a long period of time. Him and his friend Matthew, and I'll put the link underneath. I've actually played a couple of their videos, but they expose China a lot, and what goes on over there.
I know one thing. I love my Chinese finger trap. It gets me every time. How does it do that?
I don't know, but we just had Chinese food the other night, and I don't know if I'd be willing to give that up.
I'm scared of scared of China. Yo, I'm so scared of China's like I am. I was afraid to unalive me. So I just put out that video and everything, and I think I just got that call from the consulate and stuff, so I was really freaked out. So we went to go investigate them, and I wanted to talk to the people at the Grand Canyon because of the Wallapai Indians, because I actually knew them. I've had a very adventurous life, and I've actually went camping and stayed out on the edge of the Grand Canyon with these Indians. So I actually have had a relationship with these Wallapai Indians, okay, from the past. And so I was like, ooh, I'm going to name bases with this. I'm going to get the real dirt, right? So I went all the way to the Grand Canyon and to find out if China owned the Skywalk, okay? And so I was so paranoid. We went on 3 tours, and I'm scared of heights anyway. And this lady, she's an old black Democrat lady that I take with me everywhere. I don't know why, but I dragged this old lady everywhere for years. So we went all over the country, okay? Every time I get a free trip, I drag this old lady. I just love her, okay? And so even though she voted for Biden, and that's the last trip. Biden last trip. Anyway, so we go up there, and she keeps going to the edge. She's like, come over to the edge. Look at the edge. I'm like, no. So we go on 3 different tours. I stayed the hell away from the edge. I don't go nowhere near the edge. But the last stop, nobody's around me, and there's actually a way that I can see where I can get up on this one spot that looks really kind of safe, you know? And it's really high though, but I can get up there really easy, and I can see how I could sit on my butt and scoot back down. Okay, so I had to walk down. I could sit on my butt and go down, because that's how I have to go down. Okay, that's how Hurricane Anne rolls. Okay, so I get up there and I think, if I see Chinese people up, I'm gonna freak out. And I'm up there, I'm making a video. I'm on the top of the world, you know. I started that video, and then all of a sudden I look up, and guess what? Here they come. The Chinese people. I shit you not. Dude, I was so freaked out. I was hyperventilating, and I was only like on a 7-foot ledge, maybe before it dropped off. But there was a big, tall rock behind me. I went up and I stood there and I pressed my back I was trying to press myself into the rock, dude. I was like melting into the rock. I was like, oh my God. I was like trying to press myself into the rock. I super glue. I'm a super glue, you know. I couldn't breathe. I was like, oh my God, I'm scared of heights. And they just walked past me like they didn't even notice that I was standing there looking like a idiot. And they walked by. I was like, oh yeah. I ran over and I got on my butt and I slid all the way down the steps. Slid until I got all the way down, and I was so scared, y'all. I was so scared. You knew they were gonna toss me off. I was terrified. Y'all can laugh at me if y'all want to, but I was terrified.
They're probably just tourists.
They were. They were.
They got sunscreen on their nose.
Grand Canyon. She's over here hyperventilating.
Yeah, they got cameras around their necks.
I'm oh yeah.
Sandals on.
I mean, if I would have had my camouflage on and some cover and my AR and something in my comfort zone, yeah, but with nothing and not even a rope and not even a parachute at the very top, and I'm scared of heights. Oh, that's not how I want to go, dude. Like, no.
That's not why I'm going.
I don't want to go that way. No.
It's funny.
That was scary. I was scared. Y'all.
Yeah, they were tourists. They didn't even.
And they did actually own part of the Grand Canyon. However, the Wallapai claimed that they paid off their debt, and they now do not own part of that. That was what I got in the interview. But the fact of the matter that they were part owner was true. However, they claimed that they now are not. In case y'all wonder what my investigation showed.
Interesting. Well, this goes on to say the United States politicizes, weaponizes technological issues and uses them as ideological tools. Overstretching the concept of national security, the United States mobilized state power to suppress and sanction Chinese company Huawei, restricted the entry of those products into the United States market, cut off its supply of chips and operating systems, and coerced other countries to ban it from undertaking local 5G network construction. It even talked Canada into unwarrantedly detaining Huawei's CFO Meng Wanzhou for nearly 3 years. I don't know if I buy that paragraph. I think they're deflecting. I think it's them that weaponizes the technological issues. What do you guys? I mean, comments on that? Am I wrong?
Well, you got to look into when it comes to that cell phone technology. I don't know if we can say the type on YouTube. I do agree with you. Just for the simple fact of how many of the Chinese manufacturers have been banned from many countries due to their backdoor capabilities to be able to spy on the citizens of the country. Huawei being one of them. Now, being a techie such as myself, their phones are beautiful and well put together, and
I love their
tons of
phones.
great features.
Yeah,
but can't use them because they will spy on you, and that goes to show with TikTok as well. It's a platform for free speech right now, but you got to look at who it's owned by.
Yeah.
And everybody's saying China owns TikTok. But hey, what about your damn refrigerator? What about your microwave? They all got keyboards. They're all capable of blowing themselves up, okay? Or doing whatever and spying on you too.
Spying on you, absolutely. Those smart TVs.
I mean, everything in your house, they're well, if they're gonna, I can get defensive because I'm like, they already have it all. So why take away our
look? If you played,
they already have it.
If you played that, what is that game that Pokemon. Remember that Pokemon where you held it on your phone and you found the Pokemon and you collected them all? And people were walking around on their phone outside. People were walking around on their phone in their houses. If you played that game in your house, they've already got the blueprint of your house. If you have one of those vacuum cleaners that automatically goes along your floor, it's already laid out your house plan. They know exactly what is in your house and what isn't in your house, So says we get on with TikTok right here. It says the United States has fabricated a slew of excuses to clamp down on China's high-tech enterprise with global competitiveness, and has put more than 1,000 Chinese enterprises on sanctions list. In addition, the United States has also imposed controls on biotechnology, artificial intelligence, and other high-end technologies, reinforced export restrictions, tightened investment screening, suppressed Chinese social media apps such as TikTok and WeChat, and lobbied the Netherlands and Japan to restrict exports of chips and related equipment for technology to China. Did you guys know that they own WeChat? I didn't. Good thing I don't use it.
Yeah. That's what they use to communicate in China. That's like the only way they can really have social media in China.
Oh, wow.
Because it's completely monitored by the state.
Wow. Well, it says here the United States abuses its technological hegemony by carrying out cyber attacks and eavesdropping. The United States has long been notorious for an empire of hackers, blamed for its rampant acts of cyber theft around the world. It has all kinds of means to enforce pervasive cyber attacks and surveillance, including using analog base station signals to access mobile phones for data theft, manipulating mobile apps, infiltrating cloud servers, and stealing through undersea cables. The list goes on.
I thought about something. I would hate to be the person in China that had to go through all the videos of people like abusing themselves to stuff on their phone.
Right. Well, what I found interesting is that Anonymous, the hacker, Anonymous, that's CIA.
Oh yeah, all them groups like that.
Yeah, groups like that. They're CIA and they're government groups. They're I'm sorry, they're way too organized to have no structure whatsoever. I don't care who you are, you'll never convince me otherwise. Okay, what time is it? Okay, let's get into the last part of it, the cultural hegemony, spreading false narratives. The global expansion of American culture is an important part of its external strategy. The United States has often used cultural tools to strengthen and maintain its hegemony in the world. The United States embeds American values in its products, such as movies. American values and lifestyle are a tied product to its movies and TV shows, publications, media content, and programs by the government-funded nonprofit culture institutions. It thus shapes a cultural and public opinion space in which American culture reigns and maintains cultural hegemony. In this article, The Americanization of the World, John Yema, an American scholar, exposed the real weapons in U.S. cultural expansion, the Hollywood, the image design factories on Madison Avenue, and the production lines of Mattel Company and Coca-Cola. How many times have we turned on PBS? Do you remember? This program is brought to you by the Rockefeller Foundation, or this program is brought to you by, and you've got all these foundations, the DuPont Foundation, the DuPont for a cleaner, all of these, you know what I'm saying? All of like PBS. That's when I first realized that, I didn't want to get monetized on my channel, and I didn't want to have commercialization of any of my channels or my websites or anything, because once you start accepting money from other people, they start dictating what you present.
Oh, 100%.
And that's
that's for the reason why I never monetized my TikTok.
Yeah, because then you've got your sponsors going, I don't want you putting out any of this conspiracy stuff. If you do, we're going to pull it. Well, have you met me? You don't tell me what to do. Go kick rocks, deuces. I'm out of here. So yeah, that's one thing that I learned. I realized that at a very young age. I watched a lot of PBS.
Yeah, I think if I would have got sponsored on my TikTok, I would have gotten unsponsored within like 2 TikToks.
I get paid by TikTok, and they haven't told me not to post anything. But like every time I try to promote a video, they always say that it's unacceptable and they won't promote it. And I think that's funny and then they still hired me as an influencer. So I don't know, but they haven't said anything yet. So we'll see. But they just keep banning me. So we'll find out.
Well, maybe
I never did that neither.
Maybe they figure if they throw you a couple of pennies here and there that you'll come over to their side.
Well, here's the odd thing about TikTok, right?
I have came over to that. I'm wearing lipstick every day.
There's this one TikTok named Nizzy Lord, and he said that he has like 200-something thousand of followers, and he makes conspiracy content as well, and he has like thousands of dollars just sitting in the TikTok thing, but they won't give it to him. And now I'd imagine it's like banking information is on there too. So it's like he's in a bad spot.
Wow.
So yeah, TikTok, you're never getting any of my information ever.
Oh yeah, they got all your stuff like that.
That's they were like, when I had to do the influencer stuff, they wanted my W-2, my social, my address, my phone number, and everything. And I was like, of course I'm under alias there because I'm on my 50,000th account, right? And so I had to scramble just to find the email that I had used for that account. But I was just like, oh my God, I can't give TikTok my phone number. I can't. And then all of a sudden I was like, what they already got it all. They have it all. They already have it all, So I was like, oh, well, I might as well get paid my $1.05 that I've made so far.
Yeah. Somebody posted something and they tagged me in it on Facebook. They got something on YouTube. They wanted to re-verify themselves. and they tagged me on it, and they said, what do you think? And I was like, first off, you verified yourself when you made your Gmail account by giving them your phone number. Secondly, they know who you are. They know where you live. They've got your IP address. I said, I get that all the time. I re-verify. Why not? You know? And he's like, I'm not going to do it. I'm like, okay, that's your choice. But I mean, literally, they know who you are, and they probably know what you had to eat last night.
I mean, do you got a cell phone plan? Do you got a cable plan? You got an internet bill?
Right.
You got cable? No matter what you say,
right.
that you're
so
going to stay off the radar, you're on it.
Right. Unless you completely go dark and you have no social media, no cell phone, no cable, nothing in your name. And it's so hard to do that nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
I'm close to that. I'm pretty close.
I wish. The United States practices double standards on the freedom of the press. I 1000% agree with that. It brutally suppresses and silences media of other countries by various means. The United States and Europe bar mainstream Russia media, such as Russia Today and the Sputnik from other countries. So I posted something from RT the other day on Facebook, and I got a notification that said that RT was owned and run by Russia. It was Russia media. No shit. Why do you think I posted it? Because I get more real truth from RT and Al Jazeera than I do.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Al Jazeera, one time was pretty. They used to talk about everything.
Yeah. So they were like, we want you to know that RT is, run. It's Russia run media. No shit. Thank you for telling me that. Why do you think I posted it? Let's see. The U.S. government strictly censors all social media companies and demands their obedience. Twitter CEO Elon Musk admitted on December 27, 2022, that all social media platforms work with the United States government to censor content, reported Fox Business Network. Public opinion in the United States is subject to governmental intervention to restrict all unfavorable remarks. Google often makes pages disappear. Yes?
Like China can talk. What do? They have their state-run media. There's no freedom of speech. If you even voice your opinion, you will be locked into camps. Come on, man.
Yep. Absolutely.
Stop calling the kettle black.
Absolutely. The CCP, they own everything. And that was another thing with these balloons that came over here. The United States or China was actually trying to convince us that it was a private entity owned the balloons. That's a straight up lie, because there is no private enterprise in China. It's all government.
Exactly.
It's communist. It's a communist government.
Absolutely, it is.
Everything is controlled by them. Come on, man. Get out of here with that.
Exactly. So in conclusion, while a just cause wins its champion-wide support, an unjust one demands its pursuer to be an outcast. The hegemonic, domineering, and bullying practices of using strength to intimidate the weak, taking from others by force and subterfuge, and playing zero-sum games are exerting grave harm. Hold on a second, I cough. Excuse me. The historical trends of peace, development, cooperation, and mutual benefit are unstoppable. The United States has been overriding truth with its power and translating justice to serve self-interest. These unilateral, egotistic, and regressive hegemonic practices have drawn growing intense criticism and opposition from the international community. Countries need to respect each other and treat each other as equals. I want you to remember who's writing this. This is China writing this. Big countries should behave in a manner befitting their status and take the lead in pursuing new model of state-to-state relations featuring dialogue and partnership, not confrontation or alliance. Taiwan. China opposes all forms of hegemonism and power politics and rejects interference in other countries' internal affairs. Taiwan. The United States must conduct serious soul searching. It must critically examine what it has done, let go of its arrogance and prejudice, and quit its hegemonic, domineering, and bullying practices. Taiwan. Oh, boy. Wow.
Sorry, I had a Chinese bee in my throat.
Hurricane Ann's going to have everybody in chat's pineal gland pretty clean here by the end of the
I
night.
see that.
Quit creeping on me. Quit creeping on me. I thought y'all were talking.
What'd you just say, John? She ain't clean.
I
none of
see her
my
in the
glands.
chat. I'm laughing because
She's over in her. She's over in her chat giving the recipe for
everybody's pineal gland's going to be ready to go, and everybody's.
Well, you know what? Everybody wants their shoulder, their arm to be tired from patting themselves on the back all the time. Also, okay. I don't want to be the only one that's right all the time. I want to share my secrets. I want to empower everybody. So let's just do this and clean our pineal gland and let's be. You know, if we can have a sixth sense or discernment, whatever you want to call it, and use that as a weapon, we're supposed to be using all of our weapons that God gave us. And it pisses me off that they've taken that weapon from us. Okay. So I want to get it back.
I also agree, as the United States spirals into oblivion, I'm going to start giving dating advice on my TikToks along with conspiracies. Kind of
I should give marital advice. I've been divorced like 5 times.
I'm teasing. I ain't gonna talk about that.
I know everything not to do. I know everything not to do.
Not to do.
I literally had a 1 day, a 3 day, and a 5 day marriage.
What?
Yeah,
What?
one time I never even had, relations before I divorced.
Oh, dear.
We were married and divorced and never had relations. It was horrible. He was the love of my life. Broke my heart.
Apparently.
He really was. He really was. He was the one that got it.
It must have been an intense. It must have been an intense 24 hours.
She always makes me laugh. I love when she says
I know it.
Sad but true. I tell the truth.
So what's
need
your
a memoir.
overall? So what's your overall opinion on the document? I mean, is this more CCP propaganda?
When I read it, I knew the minute I read it, I didn't even know who wrote it. I didn't know it was a Chinese paper. And I'm like, okay, this is a checklist for what China has wrote down of everything that, this is what you do when you go to war, okay? When you're strategizing, because you don't go to war until you've already won the war. You don't start the war until you've already won the war, okay?
Until you've won the propaganda war.
Well, you already know you're going to, if you read The Art of War, you've already got the war won before you even start the war.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So when I read that, I was like, this is a checklist. They went through and put every single thing on here and how they're going to counter it. So then, and I was just freaking out because I go, oh God, this is exactly a checklist from what China did to us. And then I got to the bottom of the page and saw that it was from China. I was like, oh my God, I called that, So that's what I think it is. I think they've taken every single thing that they're just, you make a list of your enemy's strengths and weaknesses and things that you want to stop them at, Like say you're doing guerrilla warfare and they're bringing in all their supplies on the train. What do you want to do? You want to stop the train, right?
Right.
Just an example. And that's what I think they use. This is like a playbook for them, I think. You can see everything they've done is in all 5 of those areas, right?
Right.
But I don't know. What do y'all think?
No, I think
it's the declaration of war. I think China is prepping everybody for battle with us. And as Hero said earlier, I mean, U.S. can't be going into Taiwan and Ukraine and fighting at the same time. We don't have the manpower nor the weaponry to be able to handle that.
No, we don't. That's for sure. I'm putting Hurricane Anne's link. I'll put her underneath in our. I have she sent me a whole thing to put underneath in our description area where you can find her. So I'm going to add that to the show afterwards.
It's an interesting number of subscribers.
Economically too. Also, I appreciate that, Lori. Economically, how they've been hitting us. Besides just people don't really understand that they're responsible for these blockades. With the ports, is why we're having these supply problems and rotten food on our shelves and everything else. But one thing about the culture thing also is they. I guess I'll come back to the economic on the cultural thing. Well, I don't think we covered it. Is one of the ways that they're crippling this is like their kids. They don't watch TikTok and they own all these shows. So every single show that you see, there's always a gay in it every single time. That's just one of the propagandas. I'm not against gays. I'm just saying every single show has it so that they can make it like a norm. Like y'all were talking about earlier, how they're sissifying our army and our people in these generations, but they're using that with their cultural attack on us. But then economically, they've also been crippling us. And so I know we're almost out of time, so I'll make this real quick. But I just wanted to throw this in. If you got money in stock, you need to get it the hell out. Okay, I got mine out before we lost any money, and I switched it to CDs in our bank. But then I found out about the social credit score at Wells Fargo, so we wrote that out as an IRA and put it in Noble Gold. I'm not even getting paid for them, y'all. But Noble Gold is in Texas. It's a depository where it's real gold, real silver, and it counts as an IRA, so we weren't penalized or taxed if that's what people are worrying about. We were able to secure our money without losing not one single dime of our investments that we made under Trump. So, and we also got a bunch of a really great 3-ounce coin or something like that using X22 code when we did it. So, anyways, I just wanted to share that with everybody because that's important. Because they've attacked us, and you need to secure your money.
Right. Exactly. And cryptocurrency. I just go around and around and around and around with these cryptocurrency people. And I'm like, if our grid goes down and we have no electricity, what are you guys going to do? And they're like, well, you don't understand. You don't lose your wallet. As soon as the electricity comes on, you'll have your money there. I'm like, what, in 150 years?
Right. They're never going to let a bunch of regular people become rich.
Right. Come on. Not to mention, I knew cryptocurrency was a crock when I discovered that there were secret meetings going on Richard Branson's island, Necker Island. And it reminded me of the Jekyll Island meetings. And these were all the top, cryptocurrency people. And they were the ones that were writing basically the code for it. And so I knew then that, yeah, no. And I have a lot of people always going, get into crypto. No, thank you. No, I'm going to lose my money. I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose my crypto too. No, you're not. You'll still have your wallet. Okay. Well, guys, it's been 2 hours already.
Wow. Yeah. You're talking a lot of stuff and probably could still go on and on about this.
I do want to pull up one thing because Ann, I had it pulled up already, but Ann was talking about it. And because the mainstream media is now starting to talk about it as well. Chinese police stations. You know that there are Chinese police stations in more than just New York City. They said there's something like 48 Chinese police stations were in operation last year. And there's 53, they're across 53 countries, including 4 in the United States.
So what jurisdictions do they have to be able to arrest people?
Good question. I don't know.
They claim that they're only there to monitor the Chinese citizens and keep them in line, and that they'll punish them according to Chinese law because they're Chinese citizens or people that came over. But what it is just a Chinese mafia is
Right.
a strong arm there to make sure, because people will be like, oh, well, this guy's from so-and-so, or this guy. You don't know where the hell they're from, first of all, okay? You don't know where the hell, because none of that's their real name, okay? You don't know where the hell they're really from, probably, okay? And they have to do what it's a CCP. They have to do what the CCP says. They're not your friend. Their life's in danger if they don't do it, and their whole family will be murdered. They have to step in line. They don't have a choice there. It's different. It's China.
China. It's China.
I miss the way he says No, I just miss it.
Let's get some final thoughts going on. I want to hear. So, John, you talk about the art of war. You talk about the eight front war that's taking place. This just goes right along and verifies and validates everything that you've said over the past few months.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm gonna stick to is they are going to invade the United States with the Red Dawn scenario, 100%.
Yeah,
they have to have North America. They are going to get what is theirs, and there's not going to be any kind of sharing. They're going to definitely try to wipe out every American man, woman, and child using any means necessary.
You're really right about that, and people don't want to realize that, but you're so right. You're so right, and you're military, and you're right.
I trained with them, Vigilant Guard, 2001. they've been here. I mean, back in the day, you think it's just like a training op with different foreign armies. I trained with Canadians and everything, but it's like that particular Vigilant Guard was gun confiscation, and we did it right there at Shugart Gordon, which is at the urban assault city right there at Fort Polk. So that was taking guns from American citizens with Chinese and Russian troops.
They also allowed Chinese troops to put boots on the ground in Hawaii back in 2014 or 15.
Oh yeah, and then you look at people's stories from like the Smoky Mountains and Rocky Mountains. People have reported, hunters have always said they see Chinese equipment and Chinese soldiers up in these mountains, and Russians also, because I mean Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg, most of the stores are owned by Russians.
Yep.
And then you see them up in the mountains.
2014 April, and Hurricane Ann can verify this because her and I have had many discussions during the Bundy standoff in Nevada, Bunkerville, Nevada. They were moving there was foreign troops around the perimeter. The guys inside were talking, saying that these guys were, have these foreign patches. They're not speaking English. They weren't American troops that were around the perimeter.
You're right. And I'm going to tell you something else that's long forgotten. The Chinese and Russian troops that they used during Hurricane Katrina.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
There were so many people that verified that had no skin in the game and would not make that up.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I forgot about that. You're right. Yeah, they are here. They are whatever you want to call them, sleeper cells, undercover spies, whatever verbiage you want to use for them. They are here. And it's just a matter of time before we have, it's not a matter of if we have a Red Dawn scenario, it's when we have a Red Dawn scenario. So, and final thoughts?
I have a final thought. Please invite me back. I want to be like the cool kids. I want to come back.
You are more than welcome to come back. Of course.
I love Wednesdays. It's my favorite.
I know. It's ours too. Hero.
Thank y'all so much for having me.
You're welcome. Oh, you know what? John, before we move on to plug your where we can find you.
Big John 24982 on TikTok.
That's right. And his link is in the description below. And where can we find you?
You can find me at Real Hurricane Ann, and that's her like a girl, ACANE, and then Ann with the E, or Real Hurricane 06, Real Hurricane 07, or that's it, Real Hurricane 05 on TikTok. It's like banning me. But go to the Real Hurricane 06 because that's where my Amazon link is at for my store. And if you click on my link, it doesn't cost you anything. And anything that you buy on Amazon, I make a commission. Boom.
I'm going to put the links underneath the description for that as well. That's Hero, final thought.
For me, I'm trying to think. Here's something that I've been noticing a lot when I talk about like the war in Ukraine and America being invaded by them, and pretty much them using like divide and conquer tactics and art of war tactics and things of that nature. When I always see in the comments people like, "Oh no, America would come together if we ever got attacked," and
Yeah,
And
right.
it's like stuff like, no, they can never attack us. Our military is too strong and stuff like that. And it's like, first of all, if you don't know what a status 6 Poseidon torpedo is, if you don't know what a hypersonic missile is, you should not even be talking about this at all, because
Right.
you don't understand that we really have nothing in our defense that can stop those weapons. First of all,
100%.
and then not only that, but they're gonna pretty much before you would attack like a place like the United States, you would put so much distractions and stuff like that in the country before you would attack. Like
Correct.
it would be they would attack from the inside first. They're not just gonna like attack from the sea and stuff like that, because everyone always says, oh, based off the terrain in the United States, all these mountain ranges and rivers and stuff like that, it'd be hard for them to attack.
They've
But it's
already
like,
made it over those mountain ridges.
Oh my God,
Made it-
that's what I can't stand. They have no
Yeah.
strategy to them whatsoever. They're like,
yeah.
no, they got mountains here.
Yeah, no, they've already made it over those mountains, and they've set up camp in Kansas for crying out loud. You know, I mean, that doesn't make sense. Or the other one is they'll never attack us because they know that there's a gun behind every blade of grass. That's why the
Yeah, it's
government's
like-
trying to take away our guns.
Exactly.
One more thing, and I hate saying it, but it's a broken record. But when I think about those soldiers with all those medals and different badges and stuff, and they're wearing dog masks and they're getting spanked on the ass like a puppy or something, I just you're not going to win a war.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that is so true.
That's
Good
weird.
Lord.
That's not going to
know.
win a war. I mean, I know you have an EIB and that's expert infantry, but I mean, it's like you don't have the mind. If you got to act like a dog and get spanked, that's weird. You're not going to win a war.
That's
yeah,
true.
and I even know they were adding stuff in like the military, like not using certain words because they're
Yeah.
offensive and stuff like that. And
They're
it's
breaking
like,
it down. They're breaking it down. It's literally. I saw photos at a Marine Corps dining facility where the guy's wearing fishnet stockings and a skirt, and getting his short order meal. I mean, that's what's going
Well,
on.
you know what? Here's the thing: is what happens in the bunker doesn't always stay in the bunker.
Oh.
You know? Yeah. Hero, where can we find you?
I have a TikTok page that I just made recently. It's called, I think it's called Just Call Me Hero, and it has like pretty much my same profile picture on there. I'm gonna start uploading on there a lot more because my main account has too much heat now. It's like there's just too many people watching it.
You've been a little vocal, my friend.
Yeah.
Just a little vocal.
But it's like, here's the thing, right? No one talks about certain stuff who actually has a platform, and because I don't make money off of TikTok, I can pretty much say whatever I want.
Right.
So it's like,
Yep.
I don't know.
Right.
Exactly. Well, as much as you can. I think we all push the envelope quite a bit because, but Anne, I don't know how she does it. She just won. I've still got my original TikTok, but if you look at my videos, I don't put anything controversial really up there. It's not what I use it for. So I just use it to get information. But
it helps now that I'm not showing my gun so much on TikTok.
Yes, that definitely is helping. It is definitely helping.
That really kind of triggered them, especially when I put that gun competition when we had the Obama mask on all the targets. That got me banned real quick.
I know, I saw that. She was
That was
gone. She was gone. There was she was gone. So Ernie, you've been quiet.
Yeah, I told you I wasn't going to be here. I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Final thoughts on all of this?
Well, I mean, just from the information provided and what we already know, I mean, there's really not much more to say. But, I only can beat a dead horse so many times. Get your houses in order.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Lori said,
there's nothing else to say.
Last night on the show, Lori said, I think it was last night on the show, I might be wrong. She said, I'd rather be prepared than not be prepared. You were talking about the
tribulation. I would rather be prepared for the tribulation and surprised by the rapture then prepare for the rapture and surprised by tribulation.
Well, that's
That
how I
is
feel.
so
Just trust
factual.
China's
Yep.
purge. Okay, put their purge in there. I want to be prepared. Okay, I don't want to be surprised.
Yeah. You know, I mean,
Prepare
it's
for the worst, hope for the best.
and hope for the best.
It's
Exactly.
like my cousin lives across the field from me, and they're at a higher vantage point, and they have cows. And so I called the other day. I was like, "Hey, cuz," I was like, if they attack us and do a purge or whatnot, I said, I'll go ahead and bring the guns over there. And I said, we'll hold up there. I said, because Cousin Willie's a really good shot. And I said, we got a better shot with all of us together in one spot. And I said, she's like, yeah, that sounds like a good plan. I said, so what's the deal? You just want to take out as many of them as we can and then die in a pile of ammo? And they're like, sounds good. I said, sounds good to me too. Okay. Well,
we got a plan. You got a working plan.
That was our plan. So
there you go. There you go. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Fantastic conversation, a lot of information we put up. I'm also going to put the links in the description area below for all of you guys to also take a look at all that. I'll put the links where you can find both Big John, Hurricane, and Hero as well. And I will also link up Serpenza. That is the YouTube channel that I go to for my all my China info. Like I said, he used to live there. He escaped from there. His name's Winston. He lives in the United States now, and he puts out a lot of really good information. And they've been after him for quite a while to shut him up. So I will put the link there. I want to thank everybody in our chat room. I want to thank all of our viewers, our moderators as well. I'm not sure when we're going to be back. My next few days are a little bit iffy, up in the air. But stay tuned. I'm sure you'll see a link going up. Maybe we'll be back on Sunday. So, all right. I'm going to just end the show by telling you guys, again, we don't put the information out there to scare you at all. We put that information out there to make sure that you have what you need to get your houses in order, to get your family in order. And we truly never put it out there to scare you. The Bible says that, there is no fear. What was that?
For God does not provide us with the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of sound mind.
Right. No, I heard something. I thought, never mind. That's right. That's that's.
Oh, I didn't fart, by the way.
Huh?
Hero's cat jumped up on the table, probably.
I heard something. I was like,
I
what
don't
is
have
that?
a cat.
Oh,
Wait, I didn't fart. Nobody knows that I farted. Okay, just letting y'all know. I didn't pass gas.
Gotcha. But so we just want to let you know that we don't put that out there to scare you. We put that out there for your information. And remember, until next time, guys, God bless you all. Eyes open, no fear.